This is a holy grail piece that I have been hunting for maybe 4 or 5 years. Welcome to the Dress Up Closet. Today we're going to dive into a spring haul that is very inspired by Carrie Bradshaw. I'm so excited to share this haul with you, and I think because I have been putting into practice the idea of mindful thrifting / mindful shopping this entire season. And just some of the key elements of that have been, first of all, just evaluating your closet. So looking at the items in your closet that you love, that you wear all the time, that feel very special to you. And then the items in your closet that you don't really wear that often or you don't gravitate towards. And then from that, curating with a purpose. So making a list of the items that you want to have in your closet, maybe the gaps that you feel like you need to fill, or if you're realizing you really love something, maybe finding more of that idea. And I have been thinking about that a lot. So I feel like lately I have been bringing in pieces that I'm so excited about, that I feel like are super special. And really at the end of the day, they're all very Carrie Bradshaw inspired, because I think for me, ultimately, Carrie Bradshaw is the biggest icon of my entire dress up life. I feel like when I watched the show back in the 90s, it really just woke something up in my brain. I loved how she mixed vintage with new. It was always very whimsical, playful. I loved how different stages of her life, or where she was, her destination, or even who she was dating would often inspire a whole new kind of character that would come out of her. So I think she's been the biggest teacher for me, and really Pat Field has been the biggest teacher for me. And on that note, please everyone go watch Happy Clothes. It's a Patricia Field documentary. And whenever I'm just feeling uninspired, I just put it on and I can get dressed, not because I'm going to wear anything necessarily in the documentary, but just the way that she talks about clothes, and clothes being happy and just making you feel something really fun and spark something for you, just sparks something for me. All that to say, I have been on this hunt for really, really special pieces that are also very much pieces that are a continuation of other things in my closet that I love. And so I'm going to go through all of the pieces that I've been bringing in lately, let you know where or how I found them, and then even ways that I've either already worn it or that it was inspired by pieces that I had in my closet, and then also just the overall inspiration of Carrie Bradshaw and why that kind of inspired the purchase. The first item that I've recently picked up is a 50s skirt. And in particular, the 50s circle skirt. So the very full skirt, and it could be a solid or a print. And in terms of talking about Carrie Bradshaw, I feel like this is such a staple in Carrie's closet that we've seen really from the very beginning through the movies and even the new show And Just Like That. I love how she's always styled it more in a kind of an everyday out and about outfit. And I'm realizing that those are some of my favorite skirts that I have in my closet. I have a navy 50s circle skirt that I feel like I've worn a ton over different seasons, styled in multiple ways. I absolutely love it. I also have a little black one with white flecks in it as well. And those have been repeating items in my closet that feel so classic. I always feel great in them. And so I realized I need more of this in my closet. So I have been using the Gem app. And if you don't have the Gem app, you definitely need to download it, because it basically searches all of the vintage secondhand shopping sites for you. And you can even curate a list to keep your eye on that you'll get an email. You can even get notifications on your phone. So I have certain things that I have always been searching for on the Gem app, and I get alerts every single morning when I open up my email, and I can see if it's the item that I want. So I feel like it helps you in your hunt. Anyways, all that to say, I hopped on the Gem app. I started to do a big hunt and search for a 50s style skirt. I bought the dreamiest one from an eBay seller, which you should definitely look them up. It's called Antique Wardrobe on eBay. Their selection is insane. They have so many, I don't know, 3,000 or 4,000 items listed, and some of the pieces are absolutely incredible. I feel like their prices are really good. And the skirt that I got is a Madeline Miller 1950s taffeta circle skirt. I absolutely loved the details of this. I realized I have, the navy version, and then I have this black version, but I didn't have anything with a gorgeous print on it, and I wanted something that was going to just perfectly go from spring into summer. I also feel like I can wear this in fall. It's got sequins, it's got multiple colors in it, it's got multiple designs. I love a print, and I just absolutely love this skirt. I've already styled it one time and had so much fun wearing it, but I cannot wait to continue wearing it the rest of the season and into the summer. Okay, the next item is a print duster or swing coat. We have seen Carrie wear a lot of versions of a printed fabulous kind of light layer coat on so many outfits. I feel like running off to the stock exchange, going to drop off the mulberry bush at Steve's bar. We've seen her wear this idea a lot, and this has inspired me to add this into my closet, which I think I've had versions of this in the past, but I realized I have sold many of them, I think, to some of you, and it felt like this was a gap in my closet that I wanted. I have great outerwear for the winter and the fall, but I don't have just fun layers like this, especially a long duster or swing coat in my closet. And I just love the way Carrie has worn this over the years, and so I wanted to bring one into mine. And I got back on the gym app. I spent a lot of time hunting. I mean, I spent weeks and weeks looking through all the options, considering it, really making sure it kind of fit all the details that I wanted. I ended up finding this red 1960s swing coat that was absolutely perfect. I loved the bell sleeves. I loved the red with the gold detailing. It's also really light, so it feels perfect for layering on in the spring and honestly into summer and into fall and even in the holiday season. I feel like I can totally wear this all year round. I was also really particular about the length. I wanted one that was going to be below the knee and really have that full like swing shape. I didn't want anything too structured, too straight, nothing tailored. I didn't want a 3/4 length sleeve. I wanted something a little bit longer. So I really took my time. And I think that is what is fun about hunting down these treasures and really being intentional with your purchases, is really knowing what you're looking for and the elements of what you're looking for, so that you don't just kind of get caught up in the moment and buy something. So I was so excited about this one. This is from Frogland Vintage on Etsy, so you should definitely check her out, and I'm so happy with my purchase. The next item that I purchased, very inspired by Carrie Bradshaw, is the knicker. I would consider them a knicker pant. They're just a little bit below the knee, and we've seen Carrie wear this in so many fun ways. I love that kind of 90s minimal styling that she's done with it, or the really over the top with that tie-dye and Chanel and the scarf in her hair look, which often people consider one of the wildest and craziest outfits. I consider that one of the all-time best looks she's ever worn. So with that in mind, I was recently at a vintage store here in Orange County called Landers. If you are in the Orange County area or visiting, you have to go there. It's called Landers Supply House. And I would say most of the store is curated with a Western flair or Americana in mind, men's and women's. So a ton of great options. And I found these pink stripe knicker pants, very 1950s fabulous. I feel like I could be at a summer camp or dashing around a little beach town, but I'm so excited to wear these, and they're so Carrie inspired. I definitely love that they're fabulous in their colors, and I'm gonna have so much fun playing around with all of the light and bright elements of the pants. Okay, the next item. This is a holy grail piece that I have been hunting for maybe 4 or 5 years, and I finally brought it into my closet. It is this Norma Kamali corset waist skirt. I will say, first of all, I've been a Norma Kamali fan for a while. I found a pinstripe suit of hers at a thrift store in Savers, and I feel like that really kicked off this obsession with collecting vintage Norma Kamali, and I'm always looking for her items, and I've got a search saved on Gem for Norma Kamali anything, because those pieces from the 80s and 90s are just incredible. But there was this skirt. I was at Pickwick, I think the very first year I was working with them and doing the hosting, that Hall of Wonders, which you guys have to follow Hall of Wonders. She's an incredible stylist and makes the most insane content, and just the way her brain works is incredible. She had this green Norma Kamali skirt with the high corset waist, these big exaggerated pockets. And I should have bought it that day, but I just didn't end up purchasing it, and it haunted me. And then I felt like I have to re-find this skirt. And then the show, and just like that came out, Carrie Bradshaw is wearing a gingham version similar. I don't know if maybe they took the pockets off or maybe that skirt wasn't made with the pockets, but very similar, that really high waist corset in a gingham print, and it just really drove home how much I wanted to find this skirt. So I have been on the hunt. It has been in my saved search on Gem for a very long time. The other day I opened up my phone, I was on a walk, and there it was, a striped version of it. It was in my budget. I immediately hit purchase. I just didn't even think. I've been hunting this for, like I said, 4 or 5 years. So I knew I have to get this right now. I got the skirt from this eBay seller, and it's actually an entire set. It has a dress and the skirt. You layer the skirt over the dress, and it has suspenders. So talk about versatility. I mean, I love it as a skirt. I love it together. I went ahead and styled this up and had an amazing day at the Huntington Gardens, which is in Pasadena, California, and it's this gorgeous garden. They have this tea room. I had tea there. So I got to style it up with this very like tea inspiration, and I had so much fun wearing it. But I am so excited about the skirt. I feel like when you have those things that you've been hunting for a very long time and then you finally get them, they just feel extra special, and it just feels like you worked really hard for it. Okay, the next items, I got a few of these, are not a vintage for secondhand piece. They're actually new, and for me, they are an essential in a closet and very inspired by Carrie. And that is just the simple white tank. I think it's so essential, especially going into summer. I'm not a white t-shirt girl. I'm honestly hardly a t-shirt girl. Every now and then I love a tank top, and I love a white tank. There's something about the simplicity of it, but then paired with, you know, a great skirt and heels or denim or a crochet skirt or something like that. You can really have so much fun with that. And that feels like a great kind of essential that I feel like is a necessary item in my closet. And I picked up 3 for spring and summer, and I'm just going to share the 3 different options that I'm absolutely loving. The first one is the Saison Wand top. I've actually been buying this every season. I replace it just because I feel like I love a crisp white, and I love the design of this. I love the thicker straps and just the great scoop of the tank top. To me, it's super chic. I like that I can actually wear a bra with it because the straps are a little bit thicker, so you can wear a bra, and it to me is just such a flattering shape. And then I recently jumped on the Choose app, which is a fun kind of app where they curate incredible pieces from really unique brands or even secondhand shops, and I discovered this amazing shop with amazing white tanks. And the brand is LA Relaxed, and the tank top, which I'm currently wearing right now, is the Pointel Square Cami. Again, it has more of a spaghetti strap to it, but this really interesting square shape to it, and that Pointel fabric, which I just love. It has this relaxed and effortless feeling to it. It feels very summer, and I absolutely love it. Right now I'm wearing it underneath a blazer, but I cannot wait to just kind of wear it on its own. Continuing on with more Pointel, I actually got the Skims Drop Needle Pointel Cami as well. I feel like this one is a little bit more classic, whereas the LA Relax one has some interesting design details to it. So they all feel like, you know, similar in the sense they're just a great classic white tank, but they kind of have different elements to it that can be taken in lots of different ways. And to me, this is an absolute essential for my spring and summer closet. And so I wanted to pick up a few crisp white versions of them, and these are my favorites. The next category is not inspired by Carrie Bradshaw, but for me, this is another essential for a closet, and I have multiple versions of these. But I was at Lander's Supply House where I picked up those great stripe knicker pants, and I found a pair of army pants that I felt like I absolutely had to have. Each one kind of has different elements to them that I love. Like, I love a little distressing on some. I love some that are just super clean, a little more boxy shaped. But these were kind of the great combo of everything. They feel like they've been worked out. They've got a little bit of some stains on them. They've got a great shape. They're thicker. And to me, an army pant is really the alternative to sweatpants or denim. Like, they're just a great go-to. I feel like this is my weekend pant that I just grab. I grab a button down, I grab some little gold slippers, and I'm out the door with some gold hoops on. Or I might be running off to a baseball game and I'll throw on one of my white tank tops, an army pant. I've got a sweatshirt with me, probably a ball cap, and maybe, a jacket to throw over that. So to me, they're just the grab and go pair of pants that everyone should have in their closet. I think they look so great on everybody. And really, I recommend, you can shop them online, but I do think if you can go to a market or flea market or a store that's more of a workwear inspired vintage pieces, you can usually find a great pair of army pants. And they often are the Goldilocks method, which is just try them all on until you find the pair that fits you just right. And to me, these were the ones that are just right. And last summer, when I was doing the summer of Carrie Bradshaw, I was doing a lot of research of all the things she wore. Of course, the iconic outfits that we all know her for, but there's a lot of little in-between outfits, often when she was at home writing and just hanging out or running off to grab a coffee or the newspaper. And she often had just great little tops, like really interesting little tank tops or camisoles. And that really started something for me last summer of collecting some vintage pieces that are just those easy grab and go little tops. And so I picked up two recent ones, one being this really great navy with white lace ruffle detail camisole. I also got this at Landers all in one trip. I got these few items that I love, and it's just perfect. It fits great. It feels like sweet, but kind of grounded and classic at the same time. I wore it recently with my plaid, pleated skirt, but I will continue to be styling this and just being inspired by those off-duty looks of Carrie. And then one other top that I got was inspired by really good vintage, which I've talked about here on my channel before, but one of my absolute favorite Substacks. Always so many great shopping inspirations of vintage. I just absolutely love how Maggie curates such a great collection of vintage pieces. And she put together a collection, and one of those was just this great vintage tank top that I just thought was so interesting. Again, inspired by Carrie's use of just these interesting little tops to throw into her everyday kind of effortless outfits. And so I absolutely had to have it, and I grabbed it off of her list and shopped it and brought it into my closet. And then the last and final, and probably the most not inspired by Carrie Bradshaw, because the only time we ever saw Carrie Bradshaw at a baseball game, she was wearing a fur coat and I think a floral dress, right? I absolutely love baseball. I think I've talked about it a little bit here on my channel, but I'm such a fan. And we are Angels fans, which are here in the Orange County area, and our local team is the Angels. And so I have been on the hunt for a really great Angels jacket, and I have seen other teams' version of this jacket in other places and always been like, where's the Angels version? I've seen the Giants, I've seen the Cubs, but it's the classic, kind of warm-up jacket. But I had all these elements about it that I wanted. I wanted snap fronts. I don't love a zipper front. I wanted the contrast cuffs and neckline to be the navy and red and not just red or not just white. I wanted the stripe element, and then the biggest thing I wanted was Angels stitched on the back. And I've seen, like I said, I've seen other teams of this, and it's so hard to find these pieces. And again, on Gem app, I've had saved forever Angels jacket and been just waiting and waiting and waiting for this one particular jacket to pop up, and it finally did. It was a bit of an investment, but to me, this is a forever piece. I will forever be an Angels fan. So many games are chilly, but also just wearing out and about. It's such a great piece. It's so classic. It's got that great nostalgic, athletic feel to it. And I love the idea of doing that mix of athletic and then dressed up. So I love the idea of maybe pairing it even with like my pinstripe Norma Kamali skirt, and that jacket could be so much fun. Or just on the weekend, keeping it easy breezy with that jacket. But I was so excited when I found it. So that is my current haul, all very inspired by Carrie, except for maybe the army pants and the baseball jacket, but just pieces that I've been wanting and that I know I wear all the time. And it's been really fun because I've been really taking my time, and I do think shopping online has been helpful because I can really dig and search for just the right thing, especially when I have very specific ideas of what I want. I think that's so helpful, and Gem really has been a huge help for that. And I love that I can also add those alerts so that I can make sure that I, get the piece that I want, like that Norma Kamali set. So anyways, this is just a fun little recap of some of the pieces that I've brought in. I have styled some of them, but I will continue, of course, to style them through the season, and we really have not had much warm weather here in California yet, so I'm ready to bust out all of these pieces. But thank you so much for joining me and getting inspired by some Carrie Bradshaw. And maybe let me know down in the comments below what are some of the pieces that you're currently looking for, because I always like to hear that, and maybe it'll inspire me to go on a little bit of a hunt for that as well. I'll put all the links down below if there was anything that can be purchased, and of course, the Gem app, that's down below as well. So make sure you put that on your phone, because it's so helpful if you love to shop vintage and secondhand. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel. I have new videos every single Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Also, you can hop over to Substack and subscribe to my newsletter called Inside the Dress Up Closet, where we just unpack even more of this. And I think I'll actually, next week's Substack will have a lot of this information in it. So that way you guys can do your own hunting and searching of some of these pieces if you want to. So make sure you subscribe to that. They are behind a paywall, so you can opt into that. And then I always do a free preview, and then I also love to just do free ones as well. So I will see you over on Substack. And finally, always play dress up. Bye!